Well, I mean, I am extremely concerned. Again, I was trying to outline a 10-point action plan.
For years, the secret remained locked away, hidden in the shadows of the royal family's tightly guarded walls. A secret so powerful, it could change everything. King Charles, a monarch with a life shaped by public expectation, carried a truth that few could ever fathom. Beneath the crown and the grandeur, there was a bond that he was forced to keep in the dark. His son, a child whose very existence threatened to unravel the delicate fabric of royalty. But why? What drove a king to hide his own flesh and blood? The story behind this secret is one of love, sacrifice, and the unimaginable choices that come with wearing a crown. This is the untold truth of why King Charles had to keep his son a secret. Who is the son? The story of King Charles and his alleged secret son is one shrouded in mystery. Many have wondered, who is this child that was kept hidden from the public for so long? Well, the details around this secret son remain unclear and largely speculative, with a mix of rumors and half-truths that have spread over the years. However, one of the most prominent claims is that the child is from an affair that King Charles had during the 1980s. Some reports suggest that the child was born out of an affair King Charles had with a woman who was not Princess Diana or Camilla Parker Bowles. Yet, despite the rumors, there has never been any official confirmation of the son's identity. What we do know is that this child was allegedly kept away from the public eye, and any trace of him was wiped from the royal family's official history. While the exact details about the son are hard to pin down, speculation has linked the child to King Charles's earlier years when he was already married to Diana, or even earlier when his relationship with Camilla was less public. For some, the idea of a secret son is not entirely shocking, given the royal family's long history of maintaining a certain image and protecting their personal lives from public scrutiny. But why would a member of the royal family, particularly someone as high profile as King Charles, choose to keep a child in the shadows? What could possibly be the reason for such secrecy? Why was he kept a secret? The question of why this son was kept a secret is both complex and, in many ways, heartbreaking. King Charles, like all members of the royal family, was bound by the unspoken rules of monarchy, where image and reputation are everything. The royal family's primary concern is maintaining an image of perfection. Royal protocol dictates that every action, every word, and even every relationship be carefully controlled to ensure there is no scandal. A royal scandal, especially one involving an illegitimate child, could threaten the very foundation of the monarchy. For Charles, revealing the existence of a son born out of an affair could have been disastrous. It would have brought intense media scrutiny, undermined his already strained relationship with Princess Diana, and sparked public outrage. The British monarchy is an institution built on tradition, and any deviation from that tradition is viewed as a threat. A secret child could have complicated the line of succession and the delicate balance of power within the royal family. Beyond the public image, there was also the issue of security. Royals live under constant threat, and a child, especially one with a questionable background, could have been vulnerable. In a world where the media would go to extreme lengths to dig into personal matters, exposing the son's existence could have endangered both him and his family. So, keeping the child a secret seemed to be the only logical option for King Charles and the royal family. It allowed them to shield themselves from the harsh glare of the media and protect their public persona at all costs. The story of concealment. But how did King Charles go about hiding this son? The royal family is known for its ability to keep secrets, and this one was no exception. The story of concealment is as much about strategy as it is about secrecy. First, it's important to understand that royal lives are not like ordinary lives. Members of the royal family have access to vast resources, including personal security teams and staff who are sworn to secrecy. The child's birth, if indeed it happened, was likely kept under tight wraps. He could have been raised far away from the public eye, perhaps in another country or under the guise of a distant relative. What is even more fascinating is the fact that King Charles could have continued his life as though nothing had happened. His public appearances, interviews, and royal duties were all unaffected. The child was likely kept hidden from the media, and any records relating to his existence were sealed. Perhaps even those closest to King Charles and the royal family never knew about this secret. Despite the level of secrecy, the question remains, why take such measures? King Charles had to know that the truth would eventually come out. The high, longer the secret remained hidden, the more difficult it would be to keep it under wraps. But for him, the cost of revealing the truth may have been far greater than the cost of concealment. Reasons behind the secret. The royal family's reputation is everything. They are not just public figures. They represent an institution that has stood for centuries. Every member of the family is expected to act with the utmost decorum and to maintain a flawless image at all times. A scandal involving an illegitimate child would have been catastrophic, especially at a time when the royal family was already under intense public scrutiny. The monarchy's ability to remain in power is directly tied to how it is perceived by the public. Any scandal, no matter how small, could shake public confidence in the royal family. And for King Charles, who had already faced significant challenges in his personal life, this secret son could have been the tipping point. An affair, a secret child, and the potential for a broken marriage all painted a picture that the royal family could not afford to make public. The monarchy was going through enough turmoil with the breakdown of Charles and Diana's marriage, and the idea of a hidden child would have been too much to bear. The political consequences of revealing such a secret would have been immense. As the heir to the British throne, King Charles' actions could have directly affected the monarchy's future. A secret child could have complicated the line of succession, especially if there were doubts about the child's legitimacy or place in the royal family. If the secret son were to be revealed and accepted into the royal fold, it could have created a conflict with other heirs. Would the child have had a claim to the throne? Would there have been a struggle for power within the royal family? These are questions that would have undermined the stability of the monarchy and could have had serious constitutional ramifications. At the time, the royal family needed unity, not division. Exposing such a secret could have jeopardized that unity, threatening the stability of the monarchy for generations. King Charles's personal life was far from straightforward. His marriage to Princess Diana was fraught with tension, and his affair with Camilla Parker Bowles was widely known and discussed by the media. But even beyond these well-documented issues, there were personal feelings at play. King Charles's decision to keep the son a secret may have been influenced by a desire to protect his family, and particularly his children. Revealing the existence of another child, especially one from a relationship outside of his marriage to Diana, would have caused further strain between him and his children, William and Harry. There was also the matter of his own emotional state. Charles was under enormous pressure, both from his public duties and from his personal life. Keeping this secret might have been an effort to maintain some semblance of control in a life that felt increasingly out of his hands. The hidden child's life and impact. The life of the secret son, assuming he existed, would have been one of extreme secrecy. Raised away from the public eye, he would have likely been kept away from the royal spotlight entirely. While there are no confirmed details about his upbringing, it's possible that he was given a private education, shielded from the intense media attention that the royal family often faces. His life would have been vastly different from that of his half-siblings, William and Harry. Unlike them, he would have been kept hidden, with no public appearances or official titles. It's even possible that he grew up unaware of his true parentage, given the strict measures the royal family would have taken to keep the secret. Being kept a secret would have undoubtedly taken a toll on the child, especially as he grew older. The knowledge that his existence was concealed from the world could have led to feelings of isolation and confusion. Would he have ever learned the truth about his father? And how would that knowledge have shaped his relationship with King Charles, his family, and even the British public? The emotional strain of living in secrecy cannot be underestimated. For a child who was denied the opportunity to know his father fully, the psychological impact could have been profound. How did the child cope with growing up without public recognition or connection to the royal family? The royal family is known for its strong public image, but behind the scenes, their relationships are not always as perfect as they appear. Keeping such a secret could have strained the dynamics within the family. King Charles's relationships with his children, William and Harry, would have likely been affected by the knowledge of a secret child. How did they feel about the secrecy? And what did it mean for their relationship with their father? These are questions that remain unanswered, but the impact on the family's closeness and trust would have been undeniable. If you found this story fascinating, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more hidden truths and untold stories. There's always more to discover.
I love my father, I love my brother, I love my family. I will always do. Nothing of what I've done in this book or otherwise has ever been any intention to harm them.
For years, Prince Harry has been a part of some of the biggest royal stories. But there's one part of his life that he kept hidden away, until now. Prince Harry has just shared why he had to keep his sister a secret, and the reason behind it is shocking. What's even more surprising is how this secret was kept for so long, despite all the cameras and attention on his family. People always wondered about Harry's relationship with his family, but no one could have guessed this hidden truth. It's a story that reveals just how complicated life can be inside the royal world, and how sometimes, even the smallest things can become huge secrets. What happened that made Prince Harry feel like he had no choice but to keep his sister out of the public eye? What does this mean for everything we thought we knew about him and the royal family? The answers are finally here, and they could change everything. The secret sister Prince Harry has always been a figure who has caught the attention of the world. From his royal duties...
I'd just like to say that Carol and I are absolutely delighted by today's announcement and thrilled at the prospect of a wedding sometime next year.
Carol Middleton and her husband Michael always looked like the perfect couple. They were together for a long time, smiling at events, standing quietly behind their daughter Kate as she married into the royal family. Everything seemed calm, happy, and normal. But now, something big has changed. Carol and Michael are no longer together. They've ended their marriage. At first, no one noticed. They stayed quiet, kept smiling in public, and didn't say a word. But behind closed doors, things weren't so perfect. Something was going wrong for a long time, and now the truth is starting to come out. And it's not just a small reason. They didn't break up over something silly. It's actually really sad, and it says a lot about the pressure they've been under. Being connected to royalty isn't always a fairy tale. There are heavy expectations, lots of attention, and people always watching your every move. Carol had to carry a lot of weight on her shoulders, not just for herself, but for her whole family. Somewhere along the way, things started to fall apart. This story isn't just about two people splitting up, it's about what really happens behind the scenes, when the cameras are off and the pressure doesn't stop. And now, the reason for their divorce is finally coming to light, and it's worse than anyone thought. Carol and Michael Middleton's early romance, marriage in 1980. Carol and Michael Middleton's story began like many others. Two people meeting, falling in love, and building a life together. Michael, a former airline pilot, and Carol, who worked as a stewardess, crossed paths during the early 1970s. The couple was not born into royalty or wealth, but they found a connection in one another. Their relationship quickly grew, and by 1980, they were married. It was a modest wedding, but the start of a union that would eventually be closely tied to the British royal family. Michael and Carol were not high-profile people at the time, but they shared an ambition to work hard and build something together. Both were from ordinary backgrounds, and this helped them stay grounded. The couple's story became part of the fairy tale of ordinary people making it big, with a twist that would later turn their family into a major figure in the public eye. In the years following their marriage, Carol and Michael launched Party Pieces, a mail-order party supply business that would become their family's main source of income. What started as a small idea blossomed into a nationwide enterprise, helping the family move from modest means to becoming well-known figures in business circles. Carol worked tirelessly alongside Michael, and their company's success was built on their determination, creativity, and the ability to tap into a growing market of families looking to celebrate birthdays and other special occasions in style. Their children, Catherine, Kate, Pippa, and James, grew up surrounded by the hustle of a growing business. Carol and Michael did everything they could to support their children's dreams. They sent Kate to St. Andrews University, where she would later meet Prince William, and made sure their children were given opportunities they never had. As the Middleton children's success grew, so did their parents' reputation. Carol became known for her dedication to her family and business, while Michael's quiet, reserved nature earned him the role of supportive patriarch. The public viewed the Middletons as a stable, loving, and incredibly supportive family. There was something deeply charming about how the family worked together to build success, and they quickly became media darlings. When Kate's relationship with Prince William blossomed into a marriage in 2011, the Middleton family's ties to the royal family made them even more of a focus in the media. Their business success, balanced with their family's public appearances, made them appear like the picture-perfect family. To the outside world, the Middletons represented the ideal family. Carol and Michael were always seen as loving, devoted parents. Their children, especially Kate, were incredibly successful and admired for their poise and grace, traits that seemed to come directly from their upbringing. The family appeared to be deeply involved in each other's lives, always showing up for each other at important events, even after Kate married into the royal family. The Middletons quickly became the kind of family that people looked up to. They weren't aristocrats or celebrities, but their story of hard work, success, and love for each other resonated with the public. With Kate becoming a prominent member of the royal family, the Middletons' close-knit dynamic only became more appealing. They represented something relatable, something that everyone could understand, a family that had grown from humble beginnings to achieving great things together. This image of harmony and unity was something that Carol and Michael proudly showcased, and it became a key part of their public image. Carol and Michael Middleton made many public appearances together, whether at family gatherings, vacations, or events involving Kate, Pippa, and James. They always came across as incredibly united. The family seemed to make an effort to be present at important moments, which only served to further solidify the idea of them being a strong, cohesive unit. Joint vacations were often shared with the public through photos, and each snapshot added to the narrative that the Middletons were a model of family values. From trips to the countryside to public celebrations, their moments together painted a picture of harmony. These public outings, often captured by the press, helped shape the perception of a family that was supportive, grounded, and unbreakably strong. Little did anyone know, behind the smiles and cheerful appearances, cracks were beginning to form. The business troubles. Carol and Michael's business, Party Pieces, had once been the epitome of success. They were the go-to company for party supplies in the UK, and their business allowed them to live a comfortable, prosperous life. But as the years went on, the business started to face difficulties. The market for party supplies changed, online retail boomed, and Party Pieces struggled to keep up with the evolving demands. By 2023, after decades of success, the company had collapsed. The collapse of Party Pieces wasn't just a financial blow, it was deeply personal. For Carol, who had poured so much of her energy and passion into the business, it was a painful reminder of how quickly things could change. What had once been a symbol of the Middleton family's success and hard work now represented failure and hardship. As the business struggled, reports began to emerge about mounting debts. Suppliers were allegedly left unpaid, and financial mismanagement seemed to have played a part in the company's downfall. These issues were kept largely under wraps at first, but as more details came to light, it was clear that Party Pieces was in serious financial trouble. The public's perception of the Middletons shifted. No longer were they seen as the ultimate success story. They were now facing financial ruin. The Middletons had always been open about their work ethic and their commitment to their family, but the mounting debts revealed a different side to their lives. The collapse of Party Pieces wasn't just about business failure. It was about the emotional strain it placed on the family. The pressure of keeping up appearances while struggling to maintain the business was undoubtedly taking its toll. As the financial strain grew, reports surfaced that Michael Middleton had detached himself from the business earlier than Carol. Some sources claimed that Michael had taken a step back from the day-to-day running of Party Pieces, leaving Carol to deal with the pressures on her own. This only added to the speculation that the couple's marriage was beginning to show signs of strain. Michael's decision to step back may have been an attempt to protect his family from the stress of the business, but it was seen by some as him abandoning Carol at a time when she needed support the most. As the financial troubles deepened, it was clear that the divide between Carol and Michael was becoming more pronounced. Despite Michael's alleged detachment, Carol remained heavily involved in the company's decision-making. Reports suggested that Carol continued to push forward with plans, attempting to save the business from its downward spiral. Her resilience and determination were admirable, but they also placed a huge emotional burden on her. The stress of trying to save party pieces while managing her personal life became overwhelming. This was not just a business failing, it was a personal one. The collapse of party pieces signified much more than a financial setback. It marked the beginning of a challenging chapter in the Middleton family's life. Impact on marriage. Financial stress as a common relationship. Strain. Financial stress is a common strain on marriages, and it's not hard to see how the troubles at party pieces could have affected Carol and Michael's relationship. The weight of mounting debts, failed business plans, and the emotional toll of trying to keep everything together likely caused tensions between the couple. What was once a supportive, united front began to crack under the pressure. The couple's private lives, once a symbol of unity, were now becoming more public and vulnerable. The stress of the business likely contributed to their growing emotional distance, leaving Carol to face many of the challenges alone. As the business failed, the media began to speculate about the state of Carol and Michael's marriage. Tabloids quickly spun the story as one of personal conflict, a marriage on the rocks, unable to survive the financial strain. Every joint appearance, or lack thereof, was dissected, with the press often jumping to conclusions about the couple's relationship. The once strong family image began to crack under the weight of the rumors. The divorce rumors. It wasn't long before whispers about a potential divorce began circulating. The first signs came in the form of tabloid reports and anonymous sources hinting at growing tensions between Carol and Michael. Rumors were initially dismissed as speculation, but they began to grow louder over time. The absence of Michael in public events, especially after the party pieces collapse, fueled these rumors even further. Social media played a huge role in spreading the divorce gossip. Fans of the Middleton family started to notice the couple's increasing distance from one another and began discussing it online. What had once been a united front now seemed fractured. The press quickly picked up on these stories, pushing the idea of a split. If you want to stay updated on stories like this,
Virginia Giuffre, who accused Prince Andrew of sexual assault, has died. Her family say that she took her own life at her home in Australia. She was 41.
The big house stood still and quiet, like it had been sleeping for a very long time. The rooms were dark, the curtains full of dust, and the floor made small creaks with every step. It used to be full of life, but now it felt cold, almost like it was hiding a secret. One day, the FBI came. They didn't talk much. They walked through the halls with serious faces, looking around carefully. Then they started working on the floor in one of the old rooms. Bit by bit, they pulled up the old wooden boards. At first, it was just dirt and dust. But then, something strange happened. Under the floor, they found something no one expected. The room went completely silent. The agents stopped moving. Their faces turned pale, like they had just seen something scary, or something they could not believe. What they found had been hidden for a long time, and it was never supposed to be found. Something about it felt wrong, like it was a secret someone had tried very hard to keep quiet. That secret was now out, and everything was about to change. The legal context. Prince Andrew has been a controversial figure for many years, but it wasn't until his connection with financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein that the FBI's investigation took a serious turn. Epstein, who was accused of running a sex trafficking ring involving young girls, had close ties with powerful individuals, including Prince Andrew. This connection has been a topic of intense media scrutiny ever since. In 2019, Epstein was arrested on federal charges of sex trafficking minors. Shortly after, he was found dead in his jail cell under mysterious circumstances. But the legal trouble didn't stop there. The investigation didn't just end with Epstein's death. Authorities have been determined to dig deeper into the people connected to him, hoping to uncover any potential evidence of criminal activity. That's where Prince Andrew comes into play. Prince Andrew's alleged involvement with Epstein has caused a storm. Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's accusers, publicly claimed that she was trafficked to Prince Andrew when she was a teenager. She says she was forced to have sex with him in 2001, a claim that Andrew has denied. Despite the denials, these allegations have left a shadow over his public image. Even though he stepped back from royal duties, Prince Andrew still faces intense legal and media pressure. This is why the FBI is so interested in Prince Andrew's property. The legal investigation into Epstein's associates involves not just his financial dealings, but also his social circle. The FBI wants to uncover any possible evidence that ties Prince Andrew to Epstein's criminal activities. This is not just about uncovering the truth, it's also about seeing whether Prince Andrew may have been complicit or had knowledge of what Epstein was doing. Authorities are keen on probing his private residence because, like many high-profile figures, it's believed that significant evidence could be hidden in places only they control. A royal mansion, filled with wealth, security, and privacy, could hold key documents, financial records, or even personal items that might help explain the full extent of Prince Andrew's relationship with Epstein. The specific investigation. The FBI's interest in investigating Prince Andrew's mansion is not a random act. The mansion has been under their radar because it could be hiding something crucial to the ongoing investigation. It's no secret that wealthy individuals often have access to hidden assets, off-the-books transactions, and sensitive material. The FBI has a job to figure out if Prince Andrew's mansion holds any physical evidence that could tie him to Epstein's crimes or give more insight into his financial dealings. In this particular investigation, there was a specific focus on the mansion's old floor. Why the floor? That's a question that intrigued the investigators. There were rumors about hidden spaces within the mansion, possibly designed to conceal things. Maybe it was a storage space for secret documents, or perhaps some other materials, potentially tied to Epstein's operations. The FBI wanted to search the property thoroughly, hoping to find something that could change the course of the investigation. When agents began working at the mansion, it wasn't just a casual inspection. It was part of a larger strategy to gather all possible evidence that might be crucial to their case. What could they find beneath this old floor? Financial records, blackmail materials, or possibly hidden rooms? The possibilities were endless, and the agents were determined to find out what lay hidden in the mansion's floors. It wasn't just a routine search. It was a search with purpose and urgency. Discovery of the old floor. The moment the FBI team started working on Prince Andrew's mansion, they focused immediately on the old floor. Now, the mansion was a massive estate, and it had been around for many years, with plenty of old architecture. But this particular floor stood out to the agents. Why? Because it seemed like it had been untouched for decades. No one had stepped on it, and it looked strangely out of place in a mansion that otherwise had modern upgrades. As they started removing the floor, the agents could feel the weight of the moment. The suspense was thick in the air. They knew that whatever was hidden under the floor could be significant, possibly even explosive. The floor itself seemed almost too old, as if it had been there for far longer than anything else in the house. The agents were careful as they started the removal, their eyes searching for clues even before they had fully peeled back the layers. They didn't know what to expect, but they knew this was more than just a normal search. This was one of the most important tasks in their investigation, and there was a sense of urgency as they began tearing away the boards. Perhaps because they knew they might uncover something that could shed light on one of the most high-profile cases in recent history. The floor itself was in a surprisingly good condition for its age. When it was initially examined, it looked almost too pristine, which raised a few eyebrows. It was clear that no one had touched it in years. The kind of care and attention that went into preserving this old floor made it seem as though whoever owned the mansion before Prince Andrew had deliberately left it in its original state. What was even more puzzling was the fact that it was so hard to get to. Most floors in mansions like this are simple to remove. But this one? It was tightly fitted and resisted the agent's tools as if it were deliberately sealed off. This raised a lot of questions. Was it sealed to keep something hidden? If so, what was the reason behind it? Was there something dangerous or compromising beneath the surface? The fact that the floor looked so well maintained made the agents wonder whether the mansion's owners had known exactly what they were hiding, and if it was something that they didn't want anyone to find. The condition of the floor gave the investigation an added layer of mystery. When the FBI agents finally managed to remove the old floor, they were stunned. Beneath the surface, they found something that no one could have anticipated. Hidden beneath the boards were several items, documents, old files, and even some personal effects that appeared to be of significant value. Among these items were financial records that seemed to be tied to some of the wealthiest people in the world. Some of these records appeared to be from accounts that were linked to Epstein's network. It was clear that these weren't ordinary papers. They were the kind of documents that could change the course of an investigation. Documents that could potentially prove that Prince Andrew had deeper ties to Epstein than anyone had imagined. There were also other items, photographs, letters, and even a few strange objects that seemed out of place in a royal residence. Some of these objects were linked to people who had been involved in Epstein's circle, which made the FBI agents realize they had stumbled upon something much bigger than just a hidden room. But it wasn't just the documents or the items that shocked the agents. It was the way they had been hidden. It was clear that whoever had sealed the floor off had done so with care and deliberation. It wasn't just a random act. It was a calculated effort to keep these things out of sight. Reaction of the FBI. The discovery was a bombshell. The agents had expected to find something, but the sheer scale of what they uncovered left them speechless. As one agent described, they were shocked and confused at what they were seeing. There were signs of genuine surprise on their faces. Some agents even turned pale, a reaction that hinted at the gravity of the situation. This wasn't just a small piece of evidence. This was a game changer. The documents and items they found had the potential to completely shift the investigation into a new direction. The discovery immediately raised more questions than it answered. What were these documents doing here? Why were they hidden so carefully? The discovery also had an emotional impact on the agents. They knew they were dealing with a sensitive case involving powerful people. To find evidence that could implicate them in such a high-profile case was both a professional triumph and a heavy burden. Speculation on what it could mean. The significance of what the FBI found was undeniable. These documents and items didn't just connect Prince Andrew to Epstein. They seemed to open the door to an even larger web of connections. It's possible that the documents could reveal financial dealings, hidden assets, or even blackmail material related to Epstein's network. The real question was whether these findings would finally provide the evidence needed to prove that Prince Andrew was involved in Epstein's operations, or whether they would just add another layer of complexity to an already murky investigation. Could the documents include details about financial transactions that linked Prince Andrew to other powerful figures? Or perhaps they held evidence of illicit activities, something that could finally tie him to the crimes Epstein committed. Whatever it was clear that these findings were significant. Now that the documents and items were uncovered, the question remained, what did they really mean? Some theories suggested that the FBI found more evidence linking Prince Andrew to Epstein's financial dealings. Perhaps they were hidden records of transactions that could lead to more answers about how Epstein financed his operations. Other theories pointed to the possibility that the items contained blackmail material. If that was the case, then it wasn't just a criminal investigation. It was a matter of powerful people protecting their secrets at all costs. There was also the possibility that the FBI uncovered something more sinister, evidence of even darker activities that could implicate Prince Andrew in ways no one had predicted. The truth, hidden beneath that old floor, left more questions than answers. What else is still buried in the shadows of the past?
Refer to your brother as your beloved brother and arch nemesis. Strong words.
There has always been this competition between us, weirdly.
Time, Prince Harry has kept a big secret. It's not about the crown or all the attention they get from the press. No, this secret is much closer to home. It's about his brother, Prince William, and why Harry felt he had to protect him from the world. Imagine growing up with someone so close to you, but having to keep things hidden from everyone. That's what Harry did for years. He didn't talk about his brother's struggles, the things they went through together, or the difficult moments they shared. But now, Harry is finally ready to tell the story. It wasn't just about being loyal to his family. It wasn't just about protecting his brother from the spotlight. There was something much deeper going on, something that no one really understood. And the truth behind it? It's going to make you see the royal family in a whole new light. Harry's ready to share the hidden side of his life, and it's far from what the world expected. This isn't just about two brothers. It's about everything that has stayed out of view for all these years. And now, the truth is coming out, revealing the kind of pressure and pain Harry faced to protect his family. Harry's claims about keeping his brother a secret prince. Harry's memoir, Spare, has been the center of intense media attention since its release. In the book, Harry opens up about his life in the royal family, his relationship with his brother William, and the emotional struggles he faced growing up in the spotlight. One of the most striking revelations is Harry's claim that he had to keep his brother a secret. But what exactly did Harry mean by this? And why would he feel the need to do so? Harry's comments about keeping his brother a secret go beyond just maintaining privacy. They reveal a complex dynamic between the brothers, one that was shaped by both family loyalty and the constant pressure of royal life. To understand why Harry would say such a thing, we need to dive deeper into his memoir and explore what led him to feel the need to protect his brother, William, in this way. In Spare, Harry doesn't hold back on his feelings and the experiences he faced throughout his life as a royal. He talks about the expectations placed on him from an early age, especially as the younger brother to Prince William, who was destined to become the King of England. This dynamic meant that Harry often found himself in a supporting role, always second in line. One of the most striking parts of the book is when Harry describes how, despite their shared experiences and upbringing, he and William's relationship became strained. Harry reveals that, at certain points in their lives, he had to keep his brother a secret. So, what did Harry mean by this? Did he literally hide aspects of their relationship, or was it a metaphor for the way their relationship was managed under the watchful eyes of the public and the media? Harry's comments about keeping certain things about William a secret. When Harry says that he had to keep his brother a secret, he isn't implying that he physically hid William or kept their relationship under wraps. Instead, Harry reflects on the many ways he had to protect his brother's image. As a royal, there were constant pressures to maintain an idealized public image, one that portrayed unity, loyalty, and strength. Harry explains that part of this meant shielding William from any personal struggles or tensions within the royal family. Harry writes in his memoir about how he sometimes found himself acting as though everything was fine when, in reality, he was struggling with the way his relationship with William was evolving. He had to keep up appearances, not just for the public, but also for his family. If there were issues or tensions between them, they were never discussed openly. Instead, Harry had to keep those moments to himself, maintaining the facade of a close, united family. This notion of keeping things secret isn't about hiding things maliciously, but more about managing the image of the family to meet royal expectations. It's as if Harry was forced to play a role, not just for his own benefit, but for his brothers too. By doing so, Harry protected William from scrutiny, even if it meant hiding his own feelings of isolation and frustration. At the heart of this claim is the question: was Harry keeping his brother a secret because he wanted to protect William's privacy? Or was it more about preserving the royal family's image? To answer this, we need to look at both possibilities. On one hand, Harry could have been trying to protect William's privacy. The royal family, despite their public lives, also deserve moments of personal space. As the future king, William had a lot of pressure on him. Harry, in his book, mentions how William was often caught between his duty to the crown and his personal desires. By keeping certain things about William's life a secret, Harry could have been shielding him from the constant scrutiny of the public eye. On the other hand, there is also the possibility that Harry's motivation was to maintain the image of a perfect, unified family. Royals, especially in Harry and William's generation, were expected to show no weakness. They were expected to be role models and symbols of stability. If Harry revealed any cracks in their relationship, it might have caused a public uproar, leading to negative press and damaging the royal family's reputation. In this sense, Harry might have felt the pressure not just to protect his brother, but to maintain the royal image that the world expected. Analysis of the secret. So, why would Harry feel the need to keep his brother a secret? Was it out of loyalty, or was it because of the intense pressure placed on him by the royal family and the media? Loyalty seems like a key reason. Harry, despite their differences, has always shown deep love and loyalty to his brother. Even when their relationship became strained, Harry wanted to protect William from being exposed to the same media scrutiny that Harry himself had faced throughout his life. It seems that Harry tried to shield William from the harsh realities of being in the royal spotlight. However, there is another layer to consider: the overwhelming pressure of royal life. Harry often writes in Spare about how difficult it was to live under the constant gaze of the public eye. Everything the royal family did, from their personal relationships to their public appearances, was analyzed and critiqued. Harry was no stranger to this pressure. and felt it acutely. The decision to keep his brother a secret may have been Harry's way of coping with that pressure. By keeping quiet and maintaining a sense of control over their private lives, Harry could avoid adding fuel to the fire of public speculation. Harry's emotional state during the time he wrote Spare is important to consider. His decision to reveal so much about his life and his relationship with William speaks volumes about his own struggles with his mental health. Throughout the memoir, Harry opens up about his deep emotional pain, the loss of his mother, and the ways the royal family's expectations affected him. Harry's emotional struggles. Harry's emotional struggles are at the core of why he decided to write this book and open up about his life. Growing up in the royal family was not as glamorous as it seemed from the outside. Harry talks about how he often felt overshadowed by his brother and how the media relentlessly compared them. The weight of these expectations, coupled with the tragic loss of his mother, left Harry feeling alone and misunderstood. In Spare, Harry describes how he internalized much of this pain, never feeling like he could fully express his true emotions. He was expected to live a life of duty and service, which meant pushing aside personal feelings. The pressure to maintain this perfect image for the public, while constantly hiding his own struggles, took an emotional toll on him. Keeping secrets can have a profound emotional impact, especially when it involves close family relationships. For Harry, maintaining a facade of harmony with William, while privately dealing with tension, was emotionally exhausting. It meant suppressing his true feelings and constantly pretending that everything was fine, even when it wasn't. By hiding his true emotions, Harry was essentially burying his pain. This is often seen in people who live under constant pressure or in high-stress environments. The toll it takes on mental health can be overwhelming. In Harry's case, it likely led to feelings of isolation, frustration, and a sense of being trapped in a role that he didn't choose for himself. The tension of loyalty versus self-expression. Another major theme in Spare is the internal struggle between loyalty to his family and his need for self-expression. Harry was caught between two worlds, one where he was expected to be loyal to his family and uphold the royal tradition, and the other where he felt the need to speak his truth and be heard. This struggle created a deep emotional conflict. On one hand, Harry was loyal to his brother and the royal family. On the other, he was longing for freedom from the constraints of his royal role. The more he tried to protect his family's image, the more he felt like he was suffocating. This tension is a key reason why he ultimately decided to write Spare, to finally express himself and reveal what had been hidden for so long. The hidden truth behind Prince Harry's silence changes the way we see the royal family forever. What seemed like a story of fame and privilege holds darker, deeper secrets. As Harry steps forward with his side of the story, it's clear, the royals have far more to hide than we ever imagined. If you want to know more about the secrets of the royal family and stay updated on all the latest revelations, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss any new stories. You won't want to miss what's coming next.